A következő előadásban egy kis szünetet adunk majd Samunak, ugyanis Kádár Bálint, a Kortárs Építészeti Központ és az Adi Stúdió elnöke angolul fog prezentálni nekünk. Prezentációjának címe Enying, Zöld, Város. Kádár Bálint építész urbanista, a BME urbanisztika tanszék kutató és oktató munkatársa, 2000 óta aktív szervezője a civil építész közéletnek. Számos konferencia, workshop és építészeti vonatkozású esemény megvalósítója. Jelenleg a Kortárs Építészeti Központ elnöke. Saját építészirodát vezet, pályázatok és kiállítások résztvevője. Speciális szakterülete a történeti városrészek fejleszthetősége, a közösségi médiák használata a városok értelmezésében, illetve a turisztikai beruházások urbanisztikai vonatkozásának tervezése.
Szép estét! Azért angolul fogok beszélni, mert egy hét múlva lesz ennek a projektnek a hivatalos végső lezáró megnyitója Enyingen, ahol ugyanezt magyarul el fogom mondani, ezért most megtisztelve a konferenciát és nemzetközi barátainkat itt, most angolra váltok. So, we can start. I will talk about the project in the city, just 15 minutes, 10 minutes from the best beaches of Balaton. It has everything that we know from the uplands. There are some vineyards with little cottage houses, a village, and between the two, a lake, a small lake with a nice green infrastructure. Still, here tourism is non-existent. As an urban scholar, started this project many years ago by making some studies. On the up, you see the bicycle routes and the place of Enying. It's totally different in the uplands north than what's happening in the south of Balaton. And the photographs of different people also don't reach this quite derelict city. They said when we went there, there's nothing here. What are you doing there? But there's something. There's blue-green infrastructure, very interesting, that this Sinca creek goes away from the Balaton, the only one that goes away from the Balaton, not into it. And it goes away from the Balaton and had this very interesting morphology around the city. And yes, this is the heritage of the city, because many of its architecture is kind of transformed. The city was kind of like punished in socialism with different interventions, but the green-blue infrastructure is still there, a bit unused, but it's still there, actually preserving the heritage of the city. And when we asked locals how to do it, which are your favorite places, how to make a rehabilitation project in this Enying city, first they were saying, nothing good will happen there, but then they opened up and they started to actually notice their values, especially their lakes, their little creeks, their green infrastructure. So we had this goal to restore the original morphology of the city center from the castle down to the creek, and to reopen what originally was one park, but then by a kind of row house of communism was blocked, and connect from the main square to the creek all this infrastructure. To connect it, we first had to make a real center in Enying square, which follows in architecture the lines of the mansion, the castle, because this brutally 70s intervention of the main road actually cut, as you see in the drawing, in an oblique line, this square. And making this gate, we connected it with the new lake that we created and kind of rehabilitated this park. And we had a big luck to be able to connect the two by buying one of the family houses. So one of the most important interventions, of course, is the rehabilitation of this creek and the creation of a new lake with a little island for birds, something where you can really stroll around, families love it, and watch real birds nesting there. And in order to reach this place, we had to open up the valley to the park. And we had to kind of create a building from a residential building that serves as a new community house and shows to the public that, yes, something changed. From now on, you can go up and you can go down from the city center to your creek. So a kind of goal was to make a very usable public building, because the public building is like a square, you know, and single-family house in Hungary has this roof, the tiled roof. So we just cut off the roof, and with an adaptive reuse of this family house, we could make a public building, signing very well, just as in the mental map of everybody, how this is a new place where you can access the park. So this became a public building, really with
quite low cost, even though the costs were higher and higher as we were building this project. We could do a quite decent public building and give functions to the public like the stairs towards the park where they can make classrooms. But money finished. So we returned with our office as a team building camp to finish the park because the money finished to do some extra little attractions in the park. So we, with our hands, our office of designers, were building the last attractions in the park. One of these was a panorama. As you can see on the top image, the roads were rehabilitated and there's a kind of terracing hillside with a view, but no money for attractions and the road was left. So we built it by our hand, kind of this panoramic ramps downstairs with some functions where children can have a rest, can play, or down with a picnic table where people finally not only can stroll around in this park, but sit down and have a meal. And of course, they have somewhere to go because they can reach this house and go down to the, with the view to this lake and up to the vineyards. And also we created, with some kind of easy parametric design, this fireplace, which is very important also for the community to get a place where they can get together and use the park as a public space, and of course to be a bit protected by this form, so not to disturb others strolling around the park and not to be disturbed, but also to have this fine imaginary of a real fireplace in a park, to have a place pinning in a very important part of the park. So we did many more, of course, but this is what time actually allowed me to show, and a little movie, just 3 slides long, so then I will finish. What is very important that actually we do believe what was the message of this conference, that if you realize the real potentials of your community, even if you're not in the Balaton uplands, which everybody loves, you can love your own community, give them values, and actually create spaces which are wonderful to explore what is already there. Some views, some water, some green, some parks, and the heritage which was kind of distorted before. So that's what we did, and we are very proud that not only we could do this long design from urban design, strategic design up till the architecture design, but also to go back at the end and finish these last 2 pieces. So I really want to thank for my team, especially Esther Davida, who was our main project manager and architect with me, and also Dora Kachko with landscape design, and the team of opinion builders and Adi Studio, and we will form this Danu as a new company because we are so enjoying these works. So thank you very much.